So we've come down to just continue our discussion, and there's an issue about whether there was a staircase here. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where from Contini to Piranesi to Gismondi to Capena to Gismondi, for centuries, people believed, and I believe that there was an extant stairway in this location. Finally, within the last 5 years or so, this area has been cleared, and there's no evidence of a stairway. So the question becomes,
where we are, just for the sake of people watching, this is in front of the vestibule.
This is in front of the vestibule.
And we do have evidence of a staircase right on the main axis. Matt, maybe you can shoot that.
I just
so
did.
Coming up the road, there's plenty of evidence for a big staircase there. But
Yes,
whether there was
monumental.
a side staircase going onto the esplanade leading to the Tre Ezzedre and back to the
Well, okay,
Poecile
so the questions are, we just described how visitors were entering this building and being housed in that part of the villa, and then you have to ask the question, well, how would that visitor get to another part of the villa? And suppose there was no stairway here, the only way out, which we just identified, is a small corridor leading out of the courtyard and that end of the vestibule. And maybe, and you could say perhaps visitors had to leave one in single file. Okay, that would be a reasonable assumption, except that that route then ends up in the small baths. So it's a feasible route to go to the small baths, but then would you go through the baths to get to another area?
No.
Probably not. So the question comes back, is it possible that excavations have taken away evidence that otherwise would have been there? Or is it possible that a stair built of marble on top of a brick substructure has not left any evidence of the interlocking of the marble parts with the brick substructure? You know, and then you look at the main stair over here, and again there's no evidence of the actual steps. So is it possible to believe that a marble steps there were of similar sort of structure to some sort of marble step construction here that we no longer see any evidence of?
Let's see Marina, as an archaeologist, how do you react to that?
Well, the thing is that all these walls are restored, so this is one of our main problems,
Yes.
because when they restore, we don't see the original part, so we really don't know, because there is also a part of interpretation in what you do when you are restoring.
Yes.
So if somebody believed that here there was a stair, she could have restored it, for example. I don't see any trace of a stair here. And also, as you know, in the villa, it's quite often happens that there is a sort of a wall blocking the access through, which was a security device.
Right.
So it could have happened also here was a way of separating this area from the other one. And probably this was meant, I'm thinking about a very monumental, impressive access for people coming for a night dinner party in the Canopus. So it was something really spectacular, and was a very impressive entrance. It was showing all the power of the emperor, because here, of course, you must imagine everything reveated with marble, and then slaves and lamps and whatever. So we have to work a lot about these separated areas and the way that they were connected.
Right.
But if you could not come down a staircase here to go in this direction back to the north toward the Poecile and the Philosopher's Hall and so on, how could you get from this area of the Canopus over there?
There's no
How would you
no
do it?
other
There's
way.
no other way.
You go from upstairs.
But then you have to say, well, how do you get upstairs? Well, either you go all to the southern end of the Canopus,
You go
and
to
then
the
you go
Canopus.
beyond there, and ultimately you come to a stair at the far end of the of this valley here, right?
No, you have a stair going up. Then you have another stair going up near the Praetorium Pavilion, which leads you upstairs to that terrace that is close to the Winter Palace. And then from there, there was a route that probably was going along the Termo with Heliocaminus. That's the only way.
But then you're in, but then the problem with that route is then you're in the Winter Palace.
Yeah, but I believe
And
that.
and then you have to ask, well, would you have routed this crowd that could conceivably fill this hall through the Winter Palace on their way to some other spot?
But
And that might be unlikely.
No, maybe they were not supposed to access the other part. I believe that the main access to the Poecile was the road drawn by Piranesi, which is going through the main arch of the Poecile. And also, for example, there is another outside road to get to Roccabruna, because you can go to Roccabruna here along the building where now is the museum. But I saw a ramp that is near Roccabruna, so possibly there was a road that was going all the way around here, this hill, and was reaching Roccabruna. So, for example, when there were religious ceremonies, people could go there coming from outside and without going through the villa for security reasons. So we must reason in terms of security mainly. And then, of course, a building like this, a complex like this, had more than one entrance.
Yes, definitely had more than one entrance. Yes.
But we know so little about the roads leading here, about the paths, about so many things. But reasoning about it, it's a way to come out with new ideas many times.